Are you losing sleep over your W3 total cache settings? Are you not configuring Cloudflare or MaxCDN? Then this video is for you. Stick with me, and you could get a 0.6 second load time in GT metrics. This is my website, and I have a 100% page speed score and 92% Y slow. I've written one of the most extensive W3 total cache tutorials online with 177 comments. And I've optimized multiple websites to load faster, including a 1 second load time. We reduced the load time, this one, by 13 seconds. And I contribute a lot of this to both W3 Total Cache, MaxCDN's Content Delivery Network, which I'm also going to show you how to set up, and Cloudflare. So this video tutorial is broken down into those three sections. First, we're going to configure the different performance tabs on the left. Then we're going to set up MaxCDN's Content Delivery Network. Then Cloudflare. I would recommend backing up your website before you do this, and I do want to note that MaxCDN is going to cost you $6.75 a month. If you use my coupon, it's 25% off. They do have a free trial, but I just want to give you the disclaimer that it does cost some money. I do have timestamps in the video description if you want to jump to certain sections, but I'm going to go in that exact order: W3 Total Cache, MaxCDN, then Cloudflare. Once you have W3 Total Cache installed, you're going to see the different performance tabs on the left of your dashboard. In the Install tab, you're going to see recommendations from the developer, Frederick Towns, on configuring the W3 Total Cache plugin settings. But rest assured, I will implement all these in this video, and if I do skip over some settings, it's simply because they're meant to be left as the default. The next tab we're going to want to look at is the Extensions tab. Here we're going to activate any services that we currently use or plan on using. So if you are going to configure Cloudflare with me, then you would activate that. If you have FeedBurner, activate that. If you want better results for the Genesis framework, it will cost you $99 a year for W3 Total Cache Pro, which also comes with Fragment Cache, but that's where you would activate it. If you have the Yoast SEO plugin, you would activate that too. So that is simply the Extensions tab. Now we're going to go into the general settings. If you scroll down, the first thing we'll do is enable page cache. For the page cache method, you can leave that as the default. However, if you are using dedicated virtual servers or multiple servers, there are options for those. If you're not sure which one you're hosted on, I would check with your hosting provider. Just be aware that the General Settings tab does have multiple options where you can change this. If you scroll down, if you do plan on using Cloudflare, this will take care of Minify for you, so you do not need to enable Minify. If you do not plan on using Cloudflare, then you're going to want to enable Minify. You may want to check the front page of your website and see if this messes anything up. If it does, then you can disable it. I have Cloudflare, so I'm going to leave it disabled. If you plan on using a CDN like MaxCDN's Content Delivery Network, you want to leave database cache disabled. If you don't plan on using a CDN, then you enable this. However, if you're on shared hosting, you also want to check your website to make sure this doesn't mess anything up. I have Object Cache disabled. This can dramatically slow down your WordPress dashboard, and it can even slow down your website. So you may want to test this out and see if it does. If it has a positive impact on your GT metric scores, then you would keep this enabled. If not, then leave it disabled. You definitely want to enable browser cache. I will cover setting up MaxCDN's Content Delivery Network later in this video, but if you do plan on using it, then you can enable it and then choose MaxCDN. Reverse proxy, you can leave everything as is. In monitoring, this will give you additional statistics about W3 Total Cache in the dashboard settings. You can sign up for a free account here, however, I believe that this will cost money after 14 days, so I do not use this. Just like MaxCDN, I have a separate section in this video dedicated to setting up Cloudflare, but just know that these options are here. However, we will revisit this later on in this video. If you purchase W3 Total Cache Pro, here's where you would enter the license key. If you want Google Page Speeds Insights directly in your WordPress dashboard, you can sign up and enter your API here. However, I just choose to run my site through GTmetrix once in a while, and that will suffice for me. If you look at the Optimize Disk Enhanced Page and Minify Disk Caching for NFS, you want to make sure that option is enabled. They even say this can result in a possible performance improvement. Scroll all the way down, you can leave debug as is. And here you can import and export W3 Total Cache settings if you want to use the same settings on multiple websites. Now we're going to go into the page cache settings. There are 5 things we're going to want to do in the page cache settings. All the way at the top you'll see cache feeds, site, categories, tags, comments. You want to enable that. If you're using an SSL on your site, you want to enable Cache SSL. Scroll down a little bit and you'll see Don't Cache Pages for Following User Roles. You want to check that, and you want to check all the user roles. Do not touch the cache preload, but when you get to sitemap URL, you do want to paste your sitemap URL right here. So if you go to the SEO tab in Yoast and go to XML sitemaps, just click the XML sitemap button and copy that URL. Go back to the page cache settings and paste it right here. Keep scrolling down, and you don't need to touch any of these settings until you get to compatibility mode under the advanced section. You do want to enable this, as it says this option should be enabled for most sites. Keep scrolling all the way down, and you don't need to do anything from there in the page cache tab, so you'll save settings and then go to Minify. Remember, if we plan on using Cloudflare, which I definitely recommend, then that will take care of Minify for you, and you do not need to configure this tab. And even if you do not plan on using Cloudflare, in the Install tab it says the Minify settings are preset to be the best. There is one thing I want to point out. If you go to your GTmetrix report and the Minify HTML item is not in the green, you can go to the settings and enable HTML and XML. Just double check your website to make sure you don't have errors. We don't need to configure the database cache or the object cache option because it also says that both options are set to be the best settings. So then we're going to move onto the Browser Cache tab. In the Browser Cache tab, there's quite a few things we should do. First of all, you should make sure to enable everything in the General Settings tab, from Set Last Modified Header to enable HTTP gzip compression. You want to make sure all of these things are enabled. Scroll down and go to CSS and JavaScript. You want to make sure Set Last Modified Header, Set Expires Header, Set Cache Control Header, and then you want to adjust this to this option right here, Cache with Max Age and Validation. Set Entity Tag, ETag, set W3 Total Cache Header, and enable HTTP gzip compression. We're going to do the same thing for the HTML and XML. Go through the Set Last Modified Header and enable everything in that section. Also, you want to change this to cache with max age and validation. In media and other files, we're going to do the exact same thing. Enable everything except for the last two options. Prevent caching of objects after settings change, and disable cookies for static files. Enable everything else besides that. And then under cache control policy, click cache with max age and validation. Once you're done, you can save all changes. That concludes setting up the different performance tabs in W3 Total Cache. The next step I'm going to be going over is how to set up MaxCDN's content delivery network. I'm going to show you a quick video that they have on their website.
The world is big, and let's say your server is in LA. For people close to your server, the load time is great. But for someone accessing your site from, let's say, New York, the physical distance already adds several seconds.
So that's pretty much what you need to know, is that MaxCDN's content delivery network hosts your website on multiple servers around the country and world to deliver your content from the closest server. And this can shave seconds off your load time, especially for visitors who are far away. So the first step is to sign up with MaxCDN. I have a coupon that will give you 25% off your plan. For most of you, the $6.75 a month option should be plenty, but you will need to sign up. I would not recommend any of the free CDNs. They do not do that great of a job. MaxCDN's is definitely the best, and they have awesome support. So go ahead and sign up with your details. You do not need to add more locations unless you really feel the need to. I did not. Once you're done, go ahead and create an account and get started. So now that we've signed up for MaxCDN, we're going to log into their dashboard. By the way, MaxCDN does have an option for a free test account. If you want to go to their homepage, the button should be all the way at the bottom. But the first thing we're going to want to do in MaxCDN is go to the Zones tab. Now we're going to go to Create Poll Zone. The name is just going to be your website. Same thing with the label. And then the origin server URL is just going to be your home page. So go ahead and copy that and enter it here. Go ahead and click Create. You can close this. Now we're going to go to Settings. You want to make sure Strip All Cookies is enabled. And then click Update. Now go to SEO, and Canonical Header you should enable, and then click Update. Now go to Summary Your Website. I'm going to use my website that I already created because that was just a test account. So keep this window open and then go to Account and right click Open Link in New Tab. Go to API and then Create Application. Name can just be your website. Same thing with description, and we don't need an application or callback URL, so just click Create or Update. Now we have the information need to input into W3 Total Cache. I'm going to use the one that I already created since that was also for a test. So just to review, we have the Summary tab open, and then we also have the API details. Now we're going to go back into the W3 Total Cache plugin settings, specifically the general settings. So scroll down and make sure database cache is disabled. Scroll down a little bit more and make sure the CDN is enabled and choose MaxCDN. Then click Save. Then go to the CDN tab. You can copy the same settings I use, but these are the ones I recommend. go to the Configuration tab, and then pull up the API right here. Copy your company alias, and then put a plus symbol, and then we're going to need our key. So here's the consumer key. Paste it, and then put another plus symbol, and then we're going to need our secret, which is our consumer secret. So just to review, you're going to want to paste all this information in this format: alias plus key plus secret. So alias plus symbol, key plus secret. Go ahead and validate it, and you can see this is valid. Then you're going to want to go to the CDN URL. That's my test account, this is my real one. So copy the CDN URL, and then paste it right here. Now you're going to go back into MaxCDN's Zones tab, and you're going to go to Manage Cache. You're going to purge all files. Then go back to W3 Total Cache, and you can test to see if MaxCDN is working by clicking this button here, or you can go to GT Metrics, and in the Why Slow tab, you'll see the Content Delivery Network item should be green. The final step is to go back into your API settings and click that API tab. Click Be sure to whitelist your IPs, and now you're going to need to learn the IP address of your server. You can Google this. So I'm hosted with SiteGround, so you can Google how to find out SiteGround servers. And SiteGround, it would just be under My Accounts, and you'll find server IP right here. But a quick Google search should tell you. Then just add it here. That is it for MaxCDN. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment. MaxCDN also has great support. The last and final step is to configure Cloudflare. This will improve both your site's speed and security, but I do recommend taking a backup before you do this. It's completely free, so go ahead and sign up. And once you do, you're going to come to this dashboard right here. The last and final step is to configure Cloudflare. It's completely free, but I do recommend you take a backup before you do this. It'll improve both your speed and security. Go ahead and sign up. And once you are signed up, you're going to come to a dashboard, and you're just going to want to add a site. I'm just going to do a sample website, but copy your URL. And then enter it here. Make sure you delete everything, all the HTTP and www, as well as the slash right there. And go ahead and begin scan. It'll take a couple minutes to scan. Once it's done, click Continue Setup. Then you're going to scroll down and just click Continue. I'm going to choose the free plan, and then click Continue. You're going to be assigned 2 name servers. You're going to need to log into your hosting account and find your name servers. So you can just go to google.com and search for how to change my name servers in SiteGround, or how to change my name servers in GoDaddy, and they will provide you with instructions. I'm with SiteGround, so this is going to be under My Accounts. What you're going to want to do is copy this name server and paste it in the first field, and then copy the second one and paste it in the second field. and you would click Update in your hosting account. Once you're done with that, click Continue. It's going to take 24 hours to propagate, but there are a few things we can do in the meantime. First, go to the speed settings and make sure you have JavaScript, CSS, and HTML selected. In the rocket loader, you're going to want to turn that on to automatic. So go all the way to the top and then click Page Rules. Now scroll down and click Page Rule. I have 3 page rules that I use. Here is the first one. So basically all you're going to want to do is copy your website with the WP admin and asterisk. And then to copy the same settings I use, just click Add Setting. So this is the first page rule that I use. And when you're done with this, go ahead and click Save and Deploy. You can pause this video if you need to, but I'm going to move on to the next one. The next page rule is going to be the preview true. So copy your website and just use the same format I have. These are the same settings as the last one, but you can pause this video if you need to. But when you're done, click Save and Deploy. The last page rule is for our home page, and just follow that format and add these settings. When you're done, click Save and Deploy. When you're done with the page rules, go ahead and click this tab on the top right and click My Settings. Scroll down until you get to your Global API key. Click View API key and copy that. Go back into your W3 Total Cache plugin and go to your General Settings. Scroll down until you get to Cloudflare. You're going to want to enable this. Fill in the same email that you signed up with Cloudflare, and then enter that API right here. Then add your domain name. That's all you have to do, and go ahead and save all settings. The last step is to go into Cloudflare and select your website. Go to Caching, and then purge individual files. And that is it for Cloudflare. So that's all I got for today. If you're still struggling with your site speed, this is the same guy who optimized all my client sites to load faster. He's the one, honestly, that I credit to the 100% page speed score and 0.6 load time. You can hire him by clicking the annotation and just searching for user BD Kamul. He's $25 an hour. And I literally give all the credit to him. He taught me about W3 Total Cache. So if you are looking for someone to make your WordPress site faster, he is the man. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and obviously if you do have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment and I'll be glad to help you out.